Hey guys, Aaron Cybertron Zhang here, and today I'm back with another episode of Road to Rank, where I climb the online series 8 ladder and provide live commentary as I go. We're jumping right into today's episode. In the last episode, we featured what I consider to be one of the best Sun teams running around in Series 8 right now. It's built by a player called Adi, as well as Colin and Rogov, and check out yesterday's episode if you haven't seen it already. Also linked a really informative team report on this team by the original creator down in the description below, so feel free to check that out. And let's get started. First game of the day. Okay. I see Regieleki immediately. I'm like, are you physical Regieleki? Because that's definitely a possibility. Now, they obviously have Xerneas set up. Xerneas was actually the one restricted we lost to in the last episode. So I'm actually kind of nervous about that. The reality is that I think Charizard plus Groudon is pretty... It covers a lot of my bases here. Their team is so specially oriented that I really want to bring Eerie Impulse Porygon too. Incineroar Flare Blitz is also really good. They don't have any fire resists. This is a game where you can make a very good argument for all of my Pokemon, and I don't know which one the best ones are, but I like the idea of Venusaur. I think I might just go faux Sun mode this game, honestly, and Grimmsnarl in the back. Actually, you know what? Scrap Grimmsnarl. I think I'm going to bring Incineroar instead. Not sure if that's the right decision, but we'll see. Either way, thanks so much as always for watching Road to Rank. Then let's just, jumping right into today's episode. I have definitely, in Series 8, I feel like what am I trying to say here? I was going to say like burnt out, but burnt out isn't the right word. I guess I'll say that I found this best of one ladder in Series 8 in the last last week to be substantially more difficult. And I don't know if that's just because like there's a lot of crazier stuff running around, or if because maybe like I just am a little bit out of touch right now. But yeah, definitely a little bit more challenging. Either way though, I'm still having a lot of fun making the videos, so I appreciate you all for always coming out and tuning into them. And question of the day, I want to know what your favorite video game soundtrack is down in the comment section below. It's Whimsicott plus Alecki, and I honestly really want to respect the option. Like, because they have no ground resists other than Whimsicott, which isn't even that scary, I feel like it's pretty fine to just go into Incineroar here and go for a Precipice Blades. I could also just Swords Dance, actually. You know what? I actually like Swords Dance more here. Because I think Alecki might protect. I don't really care about it attacking here. Yeah, and I mean, Whimsicott's not really a threat to me at all, and so as soon as I Swords Dance, I could actually just Dynamax this Groudon and go from there, so we'll see. And as always, if you enjoy, please show support by leaving a like on the video, I'd really appreciate it. So let's see, we're going to go out into Incineroar here. Intimidate's obviously not important, but like, this is just kind of to bait out what Regieleki wants to go for. They just Tailwind, which is fine. I can Fake Out next turn, which is nice, or just Flare Blitz. And just going to Thunderbolt on a Charizard. Okay. Was not a crit, so I'm thinking that's Choice Specs Regieleki then. Okay. Fine by me. It's pretty free to Fake Out Whimsicott here and just Precipice Blades because, like I said, I'm pretty sure that's Specs Alecki. That also explains why they just went for that against a Charizard. So in this position, like, Precipice Blades will knock out Regieleki. I don't care if you knock out Incineroar. I think trading Incineroar for Regieleki and a lot of damage onto Whimsicott's totally fine, especially because I still have that Xerneas in the back. And the thing is, this is the classic issue with Whimsicott. I'm just going to let my opponent stay on the field with it. And I can ignore it, basically. The only thing to worry about is the potential Fake Tears later on. Because, like, you could theoretically Fake Tears, bring out Xerneas. Okay, they don't protect. Or switch. That's fine. Yep, that's just Thunderbolt coming out again. And I'll take this trade any day of the day. Any day of the day. Any hour of the day. I miss the Precipice Blades onto Whimsicott. Okay, we hit Regieleki. That's the more important one. This Groudon definitely needs its eyes checked. Its accuracy has been so abysmal the first couple of games we've played with it. But once again, yesterday's episode should be a demonstration of how even everything doesn't go your way, this team is just so, like, still so consistent. I think I like Venusaur more here. I've set up the Sun. Sure, they have Tailwind up, but yeah, they bring out Xerneas, and that's fine by me, because truth be told, I think we just Dynamax Groudon here and Max Quake into Xerneas. I don't even care about Whimsicott in this position. I don't have Sludge Bomb, which is like a little bit of a downside, but my opponent just doesn't have a good opportunity right now, right? So I think the only thing I want to cover for here is Whimsicott switching out into Indeedee. So we can just go for Weather Ball here. We finally get to go for Weather Ball, Dynamax, and Quake. And I think that's, yeah. I think Groudon is just primed to sweep this one right now. Yep, so there's the switch. Is it an ED? Yep, okay. I also could have not maxed Groudon, but the thing is with this play, like, I get a special defense boost, so then I don't think your Xerneas will KO us unless you actually have max Psychic on that. That could be a problem. Yeah, they don't max Xerneas. So I'm thinking they just brought it NED and protected. And this is kind of a middle of the ground play, but I could have just hard won if I doubled up onto the Whimsicott switch out. Now that being said, let's say I double up and then Xerneas just Geomancies. That feels really risky. Whereas like this Max Quake covers every option. Geomancy, I KO you. Protect, I get a special defense boost. So they are going for their safest option, but that's fine by me. I thought very hard about going for Sleep Powder onto the Whimsicott slot, but that's okay. Weather Ball should still do an okay amount, and then the question is whether or not a Leaf Storm can knock out that NED the next turn. I think it should be able to. If it doesn't, that actually could be a really big concern, to be honest. But we get really good damage through Protect, which is nice. Yeah, that would have been enough for a KO. Okay. And more importantly, we get a special defense boost on this Venusaur, which is so critical in dealing with the Xerneas. So, once again, this is the cool thing about the flexibility of this team. Your max options are... You have multiple ones. And the Incineroar, by the way, is actually max speed. Which is really interesting, yeah. So they go for Follow Me. Their only hope is a Leaf Storm miss here. I think if we hit Leaf Storm, that should KO, and then Max Play should just KO Zern, and that should just be game over. And Venusaur fortunately hits the Leaf Storm here, which is huge. Very nice. Oh, okay, it doesn't knock out NED, though, so that's definitely a little bit of a downside, but that's okay. Xerneas will get the Geomancy off. But the thing is, my Groudon... Well, I guess you can stall out my last turn of Max. Wait, Xerneas can definitely pull this off then, I guess. I really thought Weather Ball into Leaf Storm would pick up the knockout there. It's kind of surprising it didn't. Okay, it's a little bit scary. I won't lie. Because I think Xerneas definitely protects this last turn. You're running out of Tailwind soon, though, too. Now I really wish I hit that initial Precipice Blades on Whimsicott, because Whimsicott would be so low. My opponent could always like Fake Tears Max Starfall Groudon, but I don't think that KOs either. Tailwind Peter's out. You're going to outspeed me consistently anyway at this point. +2 special defense is pretty valuable on both of these Pokemon. I think I'll just go for Sleep Powder here into Xerneas. And then Max Quake onto Whimsicott. What if Xerneas just doesn't, like... Actually, you do kind of need a max Xerneas, but that actually makes things awkward, because then your damage is single target rather than spread. This is kind of an inexcusable game to lose, though, in my opinion, so I shouldn't have assumed Weather Ball until Leaf Storm should have KO'd, and I should have gone for... Sleep Powder. Yeah, maybe it was just better to double up the Whimsicott switch out, because the only way my opponent could have won this was with NED Geomancy, but yeah, they max guard Xerneas, so... Set up another Tailwind. That's fine. I don't really care about Tailwind right now. I don't know if Max Quake one-shots Whimsicott. I don't know how bulky it is, but we are +2, and it is base 140 Max Quake, so I would think so. Let's find out, though. Okay. Oh, it doesn't? Should have doubled up on a Whimsicott there, then, I guess. The good thing, though, is that they can't Fake Tears us right now. Yeah. The inability to Fake Tears is really good. But I guess you could just Moonblast Max Starfall Groudon. I could just switch Venusaur out into Charizard here. Protect. Or I could just stay in with Venusaur and Sleep Powder. Actually, that seems okay here. Yeah, because if I hit the Sleep Powder, we should win. I think the play I like the most is honestly Sleep Powder and Protect. Like, we're at +3 special defense, so we're not even in that bad shape right now. But... for what felt like a guaranteed win after the early turns, like, this is still definitely kind of scary. Especially if you actually have, like, Max Psychic on Zern here. Ah, but they Starfall to change the terrain. Smart play. Still one-shots us. Is that a crit? Oh, now if you actually have Fake Tears, I'm nervous. Jeez. Tough string of RNG. Really not what you want to see. Okay. Well, we have AV Charizard, which is good, but... Is Whimsicott actually going to have fake tears here? Now, the thing is, my Sleep Powder was bad anyway. I should have just gone Earth Power onto Whimsicott to KO that. Because the thing is, even if I didn't get crit there, terrain would have been up, right? So I'll Heat Wave Precipice Blades here. I didn't think about the fact they could change terrain, though, set up the Misty Terrain, and now go for Fake Tears. Okay, but no Fake Tears comes out, so I'm hoping Groudon can clutch this out. Oh, not even close. Okay, good. We still need to hit the Precipice Blades, though, and this game ended up being a lot closer than it needed to be, and we still haven't even won yet, so let's see. Yep, Moonblast. Probably just double up in a Groudon. Because of this, it was probably safe to just attack last turn. Yeah, we don't take much damage from there at all. Okay, so that's nice. Heat Wave double connects, which also means now it's a single target Precipice Blade into Xerneas, which is really, really nice. Do kind of need to hit this one, though, I think. Okay, we do hit. Ugh. It's a bulky Zern. Their Dynamax is over now, and we have Assault Vest. They didn't get a special defense drop, so I think we take a Moonblast from this range at +3. I'm really nervous about missing here, but I do think we need to go for Heat Wave because all of these are just way too weak, so I lean towards Heat Wave Protect here because I'm not sure a Moonblast KOs. And that just gives me another out. Okay, they Protect Zerm, that's fine. Does bait out my Protect, though, nicely. But I'm pretty sure my Groudon should survive a Moonblast, given that we're at +3, so I think it's okay. It's funny, I know people were commenting yesterday, like, wow, you called this, like, the most consistent Sun team, but then you miss all these attacks. But the reality is you do have some room to miss attacks with this, if you play well. That being said, like, I didn't even need to risk any misses. I just played kind of poorly until the NDD switching, because I assumed I'd pick up a KO on the double up. So, nice Protect on Xerneas, but yeah, Groudon hangs on. Okay, that should secure us the game. Yeah, as long as we hit. Jeez, the Xerneas is bulky. I actually should have gone for Rock Slide over Precipice Blades there. It's slightly more optimal because slightly higher accuracy, and that would KO either way. So, yeah, really bulky Xerneas in the end, but we managed to pick up the KO. I mean, we had a good lead matchup, right? It was great that we got that Swords Dance off immediately. There wasn't that much to threaten Groudon, but missing the Whimsicott hurt, and then I wasn't sure. I thought Max Quick would pick up the KO, to be honest, but wasn't actually able to pick up the knockout even at +2. So this is the Oranguru Calyrex Ice stuff that we have played before. They have one Fire Resist in the Incineroar. My Incineroar is valuable, but Defiant Thunders is a big problem. I feel like screens from Grimmsnarl in general is not bad here. Grimchar? I mean, yeah, it's like, I can bring Porygon to reverse their Trick Room, but what more does that do? The answer feels like not much. What about Grimmsnarl Groudon, honestly? Because I can even self-scary face to deal with the Calyrex Ice. I actually think that's kind of neat. Instant Charizard? We'll try that out. And so I think the idea here is to try to get a Swords Dance off in the early game, and then go from there. So let's see. What do we got here? I think my only hesitance as always is without like knowing the opposing Grimmsnarl set. Like, what if this is it could be eject button in very slim chance, but more likely, what if it is something like a Trick Lagging Tail? Also, if you're bringing Thundurus here, are you gonna max that? Because like Calyrex Ice is clearly the max option, the main max option on that team, right? So turn 1 here, I lean towards going for a Reflect. And an SD. You could fake out max Airstream Groudon, but that still doesn't even do that much. And I feel like Swords Dance is just so good on turn 1 here. So, Groudon's a beast. Okay, let's see. I don't know. What's Thundurus really doing here that threatens us? Not that much. Even a max Airstream, even if you fake out max Airstream, it's not that scary. They do max Thundurus, and honestly, I'm happy to see that because Groudon does pretty darn well into Dynamax Thundurus, to be honest. Oh, but you know, they could fake out my Groudon and max Airstream it, so I think I would have preferred to just max Rockfall. Although what if they are actually Trick Eject Button? That'd be wild. Yeah, they don't go for... Oh, it could also just be Trick Lagging Tail right away. Okay, they just set up Reflect. I will take this turn 1 trade-off any day. I'm happy about that. And they go for a max knuckle. Yeah, that's fine. That is totally fine. Okay. Yeah, not bad. We'll take that. Okay. Getting a Swords Dance off this early on is fantastic. I'm curious if Fake Tears max Rockfall KOs Thundurus through Reflect. But if we don't, then this thing gets the +3 attack instantly, and that does not seem like a very good idea. So I think I'd rather just Spirit Break, Grimmsnarl, Dynamax Groudon, and Rockfall here. Let's not risk it, right? Okay, they switch Grimmsnarl. Oh, that's a free Spirit Break. I'm going to switch in. Okay, they bring in Incineroar. So now I'm definitely glad I didn't go for that Fake Tears. Or sorry, Spirit Break play. Or sorry, what am I saying? Ah, I've been jumbling up so many of my words. The Scary Face play. And I know, I've commented on this before. I do make a lot of mistakes when playing and commentating, partially because it is rather difficult to, like, constantly be talking and narrating while also playing. And obviously I've done this for a long time, but, you know, no one's perfect. So I do apologize if I make these mistakes. Someone tweeted at me today saying they were frustrated because I always said presumably there's a Zacian in the back, but you can actually tell whether or not the Zacian's actually in the back based on the sprites, which is actually a really good point. So, yeah. Sorry for making mistakes like that sometimes. They're going to max Airstream us, though. That's fine. I guess my only fear now is Will-O-Wisp Incineroar. Max Rockfall still great. I mean, it's basically like a regular Max Rockfall here into Thundurus, but still really good damage. Wow. That did so much. Which means the Scary Face Max Rockfall play actually would have worked had they not brought in Incineroar, but Incineroar is obviously a big possibility. Okay. The thing is, Incineroar might outspeed us now that you're at +1 speed. I don't know if that's not really that scary, but eh. Calyrex Ice should be my opponent's last one, so Groudon's just in a very prime position right now, in my opinion, right? We know there's Grimmsnarl in the back. Nervous about, like, Will-O-Wisp from this thing, but otherwise it really shouldn't be too much of an issue. Let's definitely not run. That's not what I meant to do. Can swap Grimmsnarl out, but I feel like Instant Charizard is so good against what should be Calyrex Ice as my opponent's last one. So, like, is there even any point in light screening here? Their team is almost entirely physical, so not really. I'm down to just Spirit Break Incineroar for chip damage and Rockfall into Thundurus in this position. I just want the guaranteed KO into Thundurus so I can bring in my Incineroar safely. They're going to max Airstream into Grim. That actually did more than I expected. But I guess they had the Knuckle, so that basically neutralizes the Reflect that we set up. Yeah. I expect Parting Shot now into Groudon. Oh, they actually have Will-O-Wisp. Yeah, that's what I was a little bit nervous about. Okay. Well, that's a really, really good move to neutralize Groudon right now. But Groudon is still putting in the work, so it's okay, I think. I mean, we'll get the KO into Thundurus. That's also, I was thinking, like, oh, I could Max Quick Incineroar, like, Spirit Break Thundurus, but I'm Intimidated and Reflect is up, so I don't think Spirit Break KOs Thundurus, and Thundurus with Defiant is just so tough. You don't want to face that. So, like, I'm happy to get the damage I have right now, because the reality is that my opponent has Incineroar plus Grimmsnarl. Neither of those are big damage dealers. I am burnt, but I still have +1 attack, and I have one more max move I can launch with Groudon, right? So it's not even that bad. And then I also have late game Charizard, because what I can do is just withdraw Groudon out into Incineroar, bring Charizard out to replace the Grimmsnarl afterwards, and then bring Groudon back in. That sets up the Sun. Charizard can spam fire type attacks. It's really valuable, especially against the Calyrex Ice, which presumably should be in the back. What's interesting here is if you bring out Calyrex Ice outright, that would actually be really interesting, but then I guess I would probably just pivot Grimmsnarl out into Incineroar, get an Intimidate off, and max... Oh, they just didn't bring out Calyrex. Okay. That is music to my ears. Stark Urshifu. Sand is so good for us here, too. They have triple dark here, so I actually can't Scary Face anything. No point in going for self Scary Face. I can't reset for Fake Out, so I think I'm content to just Spirit Break here and Max Quake in this position. Because Charizard should win the game at this point, I think. I still have to respect Scary Face, though, from the opposing side. Max Quake and Urshifu may have actually been a better play here. Interesting that they hard switch. That makes me think they don't have Parting Shot? I'm not 100% sure. Let's see if they protect Urshifu. Yeah, okay, nice. So your Sash is broken now. I am burnt, and at +1 you can bring me back to neutral. I was thinking about doubling up onto Incineroar. I think I like that more. It's actually good for them, though, that they have the Urshifu rather than Calyrex Ice, because I think if it's Calyrex Ice, this game was a done deal already with us having Charizard in the back. But, like, we still have Charizard in the back, you know, that much hasn't changed, which is good for us. Spirit Break on a Grim could have been kind of nice here, but my Grim is kind of useless right now. Does Wicked Blow KO Groudon from this range? I'm a little bit nervous about that. It might. I think we should pivot Groudon out into Incineroar. Actually, I like double switching here. Yeah. It's a little bit risky. In case my opponent, like, reads into the Charizard and goes Wicked Blow on a Grimmsnarl. But the odds of that don't feel super, super high to me. Like, I also kind of just want to pivot Groudon out and let its Citrus Berry activate. But I'm also not sure a Wicked Blow even KOs Groudon from that range, to be honest. I don't know if I needed to play this. Yeah, this worried. Sucker Punch. Interesting. I'm wondering if that's a double up onto the Groudon. You probably target Grim. Okay, yeah, nice. Perfect. Okay, that's fantastic. Exactly what we wanted to see. We're also faster than Urshifu, so we're in very good shape now, I think. Don't have Light Screen up. 3 turns of Reflect left. Very easy for me to just Air Slash Urshifu, pivot Incineroar out into Groudon, but I'm wondering if there's a better play to be made with, like, Parting Shot or something here. I could also just fake out... I really don't think you KO my Charizard here, but I want to risk it. I think I'm fine just Heat Waving here and going for Fake Out onto Urshifu. Urshifu probably protects here, but it doesn't. Okay, yeah. So I get to punish that. That's why I wanted to launch Fake Out into Urshifu. They launched Light Screen up here, but that's honestly not too bad of a problem for us. Heat Wave connects, which is brilliant. Okay, perfect. And that's still very good damage. Ooh, I actually get a burn on Urshifu, which is really, really nice for us here. That will surely ensure the game for us now, I think. Yeah, I don't really think there's any way you can come back from a burn. So that was a really lucky burn, but I still think we had this game locked up more or less anyway, because just of the numbers advantage. But definitely a fortunate burn. Just think how we can throw this at this point. Urshifu can close... Oh, actually, because of the burn, there's actually no way we can lose this now. Just Air Slash Urshifu. Blitz. Into Grimmsnarl. So, lucky burn, but I don't know. I think, okay, let's say the burn doesn't happen there. I still outspeed your Urshifu next turn. It depends on if Grimmsnarl has the Scary Face and then whether or not Crit Wicked Blow just KOs Charizard. Because the thing is, even with screen setup, I can just Air Slash Flare Blitz into your Urshifu. But then I guess the question is whether or not Flare Blitz actually KOs. Probably not. Which is a little bit scary, but like late game Groudon still looks really good here too, so feels like my opponent was pretty limited in terms of options. The Reflect is also about to wear off, which is good. But here, see, they've got Fake Out, last turn of Reflect. They're burnt though, so I really don't mind. Let's just go out into Grimmsnarl here. Actually, let's go into Groudon. Sets up the Sun. Parting Shot into Incineroar. Yeah, I mean, the burn on Urshifu just means I could play this any number of ways. And just puts me in a much better position. So, like, the Fake Out Heat Wave was, like, a middle of the grounds play, right? Like, the Fake Out at least covers for Urshifu attacking that turn, guarantees that you don't move. And, like, yeah, it's easy to try to read into a Urshifu Protect there, but no need to, like, get fancy with our plays there. Yep, so they double up onto the Groudon here. Yeah, I don't actually think Wicked Blow, even without the burn, would have KO'd, so it might have been right for us to just have never even switched out Groudon and gone for Precipice Blades. But I was like, hey, if I switch out Groudon, I have the option of resetting the Sun, which seems kind of nice, right? So, now we pivot out into Charizard, which is great. And Charizard should just outspeed. It's going to take a little bit of solar power damage here, but it's fine. Yeah, we can just solar power Scorching Sands into Incineroar, Precipice Blades here. The only thing, as always, as you all have seen from yesterday, is the scary end games here. Reflect wears off on both ends, no problem. Precipice Blades. It's actually maybe correct to Scorching Sands Urshifu. But with the burn, like, I was just thinking, how would I play this if the burn didn't happen? But I think because of the burn, we have room to make this play. Yeah, they actually switch out Urshifu, okay. That makes sense. You get Grimmsnarl out, you Parting Shot, bring the Urshifu back in. My opponent's doing a good job playing this out to the best of their ability, but I think just kind of a tough position for them to be in. But yeah, you can see how bulky Incineroar can be. I wasn't even a Assault Vest. I was just, yeah, with the light screen being up. But the timer is definitely ticking for them. I guess if we double miss Precipice Blades there, this actually could have been really scary. Was that a crit on a Grim? Not even, okay, nice. I'm actually surprised. Oh, it's because Reflect wore off, yeah. And they're going to feign from recoil from Blitz. Nice. Yep, and they target Groudon. So, doing their best here. Definitely hope for some misses at this point. Yeah, it definitely would have been a little bit more challenging if I didn't burn the Urshifu, so that was huge. I could have also gone Fake Out Air Slash that turn, but Light Screen would have gone up, so I actually don't think Air Slash would have KO'd anyway. So I kind of like Heat Wave because it covers for the option of Urshifu protecting it, gets guaranteed damage on a Grimmsnarl anyway. Grimmsnarl's definitely still kind of a nuisance here. Urshifu comes back out in this position. We just Scorching Sands. Yeah. Because we can't miss that. And Urshifu's burnt. So, I mean, obviously Urshifu's not going to 4v1 here, but let's like hypothetically say we only had Charizard Groudon, like because we have such a numbers advantage here anyway, even in a 2v1, and we've got that much damage onto the Urshifu, you just go for your most accurate attacks. The easiest way to throw a Pokemon match is, one, either switching in something and just getting a KO when it's your most important asset, or two, your opponent, you miss an attack and then your opponent manages to KO you in return. I said those are the easiest methods to throw a Pokemon match. I don't know if that's like, scientifically confirmed or anything, but that's just from my opinion, from experience. Hey, I've thrown many matches myself, so it's definitely something that can still happen. And one thing that's important for as you try to grow as a VGC player is basically optimizing your end game so that you don't throw. Yeah. But definitely a fun set of games to start things off here. Okay, last game of the day, and this is a really interesting team. Zekrom, Whimsicott, I mean, yeah, just a lot of things that you don't see together. Like, Umbreon, Whimsicott, Entei, Landorus, Zekrom, and Metagross. So I'm initially thinking, hey, there's Bulldoze from Entei onto Metagross to activate Policy. I'm not 100% sure on that. Yeah, I kind of want to max Venusaur, but yeah, Charizard's also not bad. Max Rockfall is kind of interesting. Umbreon's kind of a nuisance to deal with. Screen support in general from Grimmsnarl feels valuable. Incineroar is kind of a bait if there's special Zekrom, which definitely could be the case. Grimmsnarl Venusaur is pretty interesting. Because, like, I can set up screens, I don't really care if you outspeed me turn 1, and then Charizard Groudon in the back. That's what I'm thinking of. Although Porygon with Ice Beam and Eerie Impulse, not terrible here. But my opponent does have some offense that I think can, like, snowball really quickly, so I think you could definitely make a good argument for Porygon, and in fact, like, going the Trick Room route could be one direction to play this game. Trick Room, Swords Dance with Groudon, Sweep with Groudon. But I'm not 100% confident on that here, so we'll see. Alright, let's get into the first game here, though. I think, what's just interesting here is that there's a lot of Pokemon that I don't really see together. With Umbreon, it's normally on Suncoms. With Zekrom, it's normally with, like, Comfy or some way to activate Policy. I guess Landorus in general just isn't a super common pick, so that's also interesting. But it's going to be Entei Metagross, so it's clear Bulldoze stuff here. Yeah, I can definitely just reflect Max Venusaur Quake. Got Charizard Groudon in the back. I could always also switch out Grimmsnarl out into Groudon and just Sleep Powder Metagross, so I could see Metagross protecting for that reason. We have Policy, which is really nice here. Kind of like reflect Quake into Entei, honestly. So I'm going to go for that. I don't know. If you're in this position for my opponent, like, one thing you have to be worried about is me Sleep Powdering turn 1, right? So I could totally see Metagross protecting and Entei just going for a Sacred Fire onto Venusaur, because that crushes me if I switch Grimmsnarl out. But here with Reflect, even a +2 Max Hailstorm or Max Psychic shouldn't one-shot Venusaur, I would think. Might do a lot of damage, but all we need is to survive. Perfect. Perfect. Yeah. So they went for the play to cover for Sleep Powder, which is why Venusaur is such a crazy good Pokemon, right? Your opponents have to respect the Sleep Powder play, but you often just don't even have to make that play. And they activate our weakness policy. Yeah, that is exactly what we wanted to see here. They get the burn, but that's fine, all things considered. More importantly, we get the policy boost. And now we have a +2 Venusaur. What I can do next turn is just switch Grimmsnarl out into Groudon, Max Flare into Metagross, and boom, boom, boom. So finally getting some good Venusaur action here today, which I'm happy about, because it's been a while. Or not been a while, but like yesterday, I think the one game I really brought Venusaur in was against that Xerneas matchup. That wasn't great for us. So special defense boost. Can't help if it's special Zekrom. I think Venusaur just sweeps through this entire game, though. So, like, the worst case scenario was what? Bulldoze, Max Hailstorm into Venu turn 1, but with Reflect, I would think we'd survive anyway. And because I have Groudon and Charizard in the back, I have good answers to Metagross. I'm not concerned about that. Yeah, they bring out Whimsicott, but the thing is now we can just switch Grimmsnarl out into Groudon. It's so cool that this is a play you can make, and then just Max Flare into Metagross via Max Strike. So the Weather Ball, interestingly enough, actually follows the weather, even though it says Max Strike. So we'll go on into Groudon, we'll get the Sun up. We should just one-shot Metagross in the Sun at +2, I would think. Even if we don't, though, like, Metagross has to Dynamax here, otherwise we just KO it. I guess the one thing... Oh, okay, they switch. That's a nice switch. I was going to say, the one thing I didn't consider was if their last one is like... Or sorry, if they like Trick Room with Whimsicott. But that's a really good switch on my opponent's end. It definitely keeps them in this one, but I think it's still really tough for them to deal with Groudon in this end game. And now that we have Groudon out, you can't cover both Groudon and Venusaur simultaneously. +2 Flare against Zekrom, still going to do it a decent amount, although Switcheroo eject button? Interesting, okay. Very interesting. But yeah, Zekrom takes like 50% there, which is nice. And as long as you don't have priority here, I just Vine Lash Precipice Blaze, right? Yeah. I'll Vine Lash Zekrom. Actually, it's better to Vine Lash Whimsicott here because you can max guard Zekrom. Yeah, I should have targeted Whimsicott here. Would you really max guard? Then I just bring out Grimmsnarl and I can just Scary Face your Zekrom, Precipice Blades it. Well, actually, even after Scary Face, Zekrom might still outspeed, but... I don't know. I mean, this game should be over after turn 1, so... Okay, they just Tailwind. Although, Zekrom probably outspeeds us with Tailwind being up, so I actually don't get the Vine Lash off. Yeah, there's Wormwind into Venusaur. They target Groudon. That also did, like, no damage? I mean, I guess it's not even Life Orb, so it's probably Assault Vest Zekrom. It could be Weakness Policy, but Policy just doesn't make that much sense. That looks like Assault Vest to me, but that damage output was really underwhelming, to be honest. It's really, really bulky Zekrom. It's not Weakness Policy, yeah. I don't know. This one was tough for them. Okay. I mean, we take those. We just had a really... Like, that turn 1 for us was just so monumentous. I think it's just so tough for my opponent to do anything afterwards. So, we definitely are happy about that. They bring Metagross back out. But yeah, you can't beat Groudon Venu now. This was just the Venusaur show, though. They had nothing for Venusaur. And Umbreon was, like, the one thing that I was nervous about because it can Snarl and Yawn and Moonlight. But without that coming out, Venusaur just cleanly wins this game without problem. Well, I guess we did have Reflect up, yeah. But still, Wormwind did, like, 40% to Groudon. Zekrom, unfortunately, is kind of underwhelming, either without a Life Orb or a... I'll just Weather Ball Whimsicott here. It's kind of a waste of the Trick Eject Button strategy, or Switcheroo strat. But maybe Metagross has a Bullet Punch here, but at this point, Groudon should just win the game. So, we're in pretty good shape here, I think. Yeah, not bad. Okay, yeah, I mean, Whimsicott outspeeds, so you will eject us out now. But Venusaur has done its job in this game. And I honestly feel like my opponent just didn't have that many options against Sun, but that's also why Sun's so good. Not many teams in general have, like, consistent options. It's really hard to cover for Venusaur, Sleep Powder, and Max Turn 1, especially when you throw the policy on top here. Good Ice Punch, though, going for a crit here. Nice. Okay, Groudon survives. Needs to hit the Precipice Blades, but it's looking pretty good for us now. And we connect. Nice. Okay, great. We're going to activate a policy here, but that's fine. Because Charizard at this point should win this game for me. I guess it's more optimal to maybe Swords Dance there. Oh, we also have Vine Lash damage. Yeah, that also just adds up, right? Like, Metagross is basically on 2 turns left at this point, and we have 2 turns of Vine Lash, which is perfect. 2 turns of Tailwind as well. I have Grimmsnarl. Light Screen isn't up. We still have Venusaur in the back. Just Precipice Blades here and Scary Face into the Whimsicott. Reason to Scary Face is because then Venusaur outspeeds. Yeah, and they just end up forfeiting. Not much they can really do. So, I feel like we basically won this off turn 1. And they, like, my opponent, there's just really nothing they could have done to come back on. And, like, the Metagross switch out into Zekrom was probably the best option. We can't check the team here. I'm guessing it's AV. Switcheroo, Classic, yeah. Oh, it's AV Entei. Life Orb Lando Eye. Goggle Zekrom. That's interesting. And it was physical as well. Yeah, so by not being special and us having Reflect, it just did so little damage with that Max Whirlwind. Dragon Dance, which is really cool, though. First time seeing a set like that, and then Policy on the Metagross. So I figured Policy was on the Metagross, but didn't know where all the rest of the items were. AV makes a lot of sense on Entei. Sometimes see, like, Choice Scarf, but that makes sense. Yeah, it's just a lot of really interesting Pokemon thrown together, but Zekrom feels really underwhelming without a Life Orb or a Policy, to be honest, because you just do so little damage. And, like, even without Reflect, we were only taking, what, like, just over 50% on Groudon. It's not really that much good damage at the end of the day, so, yeah. Either way, yeah, definitely had a fun time with this team, so I hope you all enjoyed. Once again, I wanted to feature it because I really do think it's just one of the most consistent teams, and if you're looking to climb the ladder, this team I would definitely recommend, because like I mentioned in the beginning, I definitely have felt a little bit like ladder has been a little bit tougher, especially in the last couple of days. And so I find, you know, when that is the case, it's better to try to switch to something that's been battle tested and proven and is more consistent. And I think this team is that. Yes, you can have a lot of variance with potential Precipice Blades misses or Sleep Powder misses, but at the end of the day, consistency is king. And with this team, because you have so much bulk, you can actually often afford for a couple of misses. Like, and you know, ideally you play optimally so you don't have to put yourself in a position where you need to like hit a Precipice Blades to win. Often that will be the case, especially with Groudon. But for example, just utilizing your 3 turns of max and utilizing them well with this team often can just carry you to a victory and get you such a big lead. For example, like that last game we just played, to a point where you don't have to worry about potential misses, for example. So yeah. Either way, thank you so much as always for watching. Thank you to Audie and Colin and Raga for the team. Once again, check out Audie's video on this in the description below. Renzo to paste down there in the description below as well. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and I'll catch you all next time. All right, peace.